In Africa, South African police plan to arrest former President Jacob Zuma by midnight on Wednesday in the absence of any further instruction from the Constitutional Court. The nation's top court last week sentenced Zuma to 15 months in jail for contempt of court and ordered that he surrender to the authorities by July the 4th or face arrest within 3 days of the deadline. Police Minister Becky Seller sought clarity from the court about the arrest order after Zuma applied to a lower court to have it suspended. The judgment on the application to stay the arrest will be handed down on July the 9th. 79-year-old Zuma remains a powerful political player in South Africa, and his case has been a key test for the country's democracy and is resolved to uphold the rule of law. Throngs of Zuma supporters gathered at Zuma's rural homestead in the southeastern KwaZulu-Natal province prior to the July the 4th deadline for him to hand himself over to the authorities, though those numbers have since dwindled.
Ramaphosa must step down.
Back ANC from Stellenbosch.
Must step down.
ANC
as from Monday. As from Monday. We will make the country.
Political commentator Oscar Emetue joins me from South Africa to discuss this. Good to have you join us, Oscar Emetue.
Thank you so much.
So the South Africa's police did say that they were not going to arrest Zuma until he has fully exhausted his legal actions against the proceedings. Talk to us about how things are panning out now in South Africa.
First of all, I want to say thank you to your listeners and viewers. What is currently happening is that, remember, the Constitutional Court did give the president 5 days to hand himself over, or the Minister of Correctional Facility or the Minister of Police to effect the arrest within 3 days if he don't surrender himself. So currently the situation where we have right now is that I'm sure you are aware Zuma approached the court on Saturday asking for a relief. So currently the minister is compelled to arrest Zuma latest either tonight, otherwise if there is a contrary order from the Concord to probably stop that arrest. So from where we are, it's tensed up, but I think the law should prevail. I think that's what we're looking at right now.
And that's what a lot of people are afraid of. That statement you used, where we are is tensed up. People believe that this might lead to political instability and security threats in South Africa, because we've had his son Edward Zuma making that kind of threat. We've seen supporters making that kind of threat. Do you think that he enjoys that kind of political support to lead to an immediate threat in South Africa?
I think from where I stand, I would say it's just a personal view of his son trying to protect the interests of his father. That not necessarily mean that he might have all the full might to be able to stop or resist the police from taking on their full order. We also understand that what might likely happen is the situation that happened in Nkandla sometimes in 2008, so where we have that kind of mass killing. And this is what the minister keeps saying they want to avoid. So I am sure Edward is speaking in his personal capacity. Of course, he's been making statements. He belongs to a faction or a part of the African ruling Congress. So to some extent, maybe he has his backing, but as an individual, he might not be able to stop the law from being fully executed if the minister decide to act on it tonight.
But how do you see this playing out if he decides not to hand himself over?
You see, the thing is this: what we cannot rule out is President or former President Jacob Zuma still have his influence, even within the ruling party, the African National Congress. We still have his influence, his loyalists. If you watch what played out in the weekend, you will always see that all the people that defied the lockdown, currently we are locked down 4, but people gathered, assembled. Now what that tells you is that they still have that political influence in the country. But do you think that this would stop the law from being taking effect? I don't think so. People will always come with that form of support, solidarity, to try to see if they can buy time. I think that's what can only happen for now, except, like the minister Celeste said, except there is a contrary order stopping him from effecting the arrest. Otherwise, the law will prevail. And I see that if you look at this matter again, it's also the test around the judiciary in South Africa. It's a test around the political will of the executive to follow the rule of law. So this might be very difficult. It's complex, it's difficult, but I think for a one-man versus the whole country, it's very tight a situation that the whole country is in.
And there are lessons there for judiciary around Africa as well to learn. I will see how things play out. We're monitoring this situation. Thank you so much for bringing us update on that. Political commentator Oscar Emetue.